second now, I'm going to find out what is on today's show. Awesome! Apparently, Jazz is going to be putting the pedal to the metal. And Stacey is going to be flying a kite.
One, two, three. Hey!
Just watch this.
Okay, Jazz, are you ready to race?
Absolutely, but are you ready to take on the Jazzmeister?
Bring it on. Ready, set, go!
Oh, that was absolutely awesome. You certainly beat me fair and squarely, but I think it's only fair to say you are the Australian champion, Barclay.
Yeah, well, I have got 10 years experience on your Jazz, but I started when I was 13, so I've been racing for a while now. I've moved my way up through the ranks, and now I'm at the top level in Australia. Won 2 Australian championships last year, and I hope to do the same again this year. Hopefully that my results will allow me to go up and race in a better category, like V8 supercars, if I can get the support from a sponsor.
Well, Barclay, in a sport like this, there's certainly no eye and teamwork, is there?
No, that's right. Even though it's my responsibility to go out on the track and race hard, it's also my mechanics behind me that make my job a lot easier. They do a great job, my dad and Pete, working on the kart to make sure it's ready for every race. And also I get my kart and my engine from Remo Racing, who helps me get the right gear to do the job.
Okay, so take me through this little beast.
Okay, well, it's pretty simple. It's like a car. You've got your steering wheel. On your steering wheel, you've got a data logger, which gives you lap times, engine temperature and revs. You've got your accelerator on the right, brake on the left, same as a car. Your engine on the right-hand side. You've also got a radiator because it's a water-cooled engine, so you've got a radiator. And that's about it.
Okay, and how fast can it go?
We'll probably get up to about 120, 125 kilometres an hour today, but top speed's probably about 140.
What do you reckon we give it another rev?
Let's go.
Okay. But unlike our open roads restricted by traffic rules, traffic lights, traffic authorities and traffic lines, this road is one unmarked track complete with a specialised licence to let loose on the accelerator. And guess what? That applies for kids too. Jordan, how old are you and which category do you race in?
I race midgets and I'm 7 years old.
Wow, and how fast can this car go up to?
85.
85 kilometres an hour? That's really fast. Don't you ever get scared?
No.
No? Why is that?
Because I'm old enough to not be scared. Ryan, which division are you in?
Well, I'm in rookies, which is aged for children between 10 and 12 years old, and for boys and girls.
Girls and boys, hey, that's really good. Are there different engine sizes for the different categories?
Yes, I got a 100cc, and that reaches up to around 100 kilometres an hour.
That's pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, as Ryan just mentioned, go-karting is not only for the boys, but also for the girls. And for junior competitor Maureen, she has only one thing to say about racing the lads.
It's fun, particularly when I beat them.
Yeah. Well, guys, whether you're tall or short, young or old, a guy or a girl, sometimes we all feel the need for speed.
Stacey senses competition between two koalas.
You can see Dusty is really quite dark brown, whereas Dudley's much greyer.
Yes, and very interested in what's going on.
That's right.
Ranger Julie discovers the secrets of a mystical river.
Along its banks are some of the most amazing plants and animals that you'll ever see.
And Dr. Rob's working up a scientific sweat.
Think DNA, science, DNA. Now get back out there and give it all you got. Come on, mate. DNA, science. Move it. Come on.
Okay, so they're fast. They're small. And you can be any age to drive them. So what am I talking about? Go-kart racing. Let's check it out. All right, guys, so tell me, what's the best thing about go-kart racing?
Having fun. Winning. Feeding your family. Competition.
Yeah, there's a lot there. How about going super duper fast?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys all race together?
No.
No? Are there like, what, 4 main categories or something?
Midget rookies, juniors and seniors.
And I understand girls can race as well. It's not just the boys' club.
No, not just the boys, the girls can race. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and what do you like doing the best out of all of it?
Going fast.
And beating your brother?
Oh, yeah.
Well, someone who's certainly no stranger to the winner's podium is Barclay Holt. Now, Barclay, I understand since we saw you last, you've actually brought home your second champ title, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We had another really good year last year. We managed to lead the championship from the start to the end and win the Formula A championship for the second year in a row, which is something that no one's been able to do before.
Excellent. So any sort of secret tips or anything like that?
Important to start with, obviously, a good go-kart, get a good engine, and the rest is up to you, what you can do out in the track.
Okay, you got to show me something out there. Come on.
I can show you a tip or two, I think.
Excellent. Well, guys at home, stay with us because coming up next, that's exactly what we'll be doing.
This is an animal that doesn't really need any introduction. Everyone knows the koala is arguably the cutest, most adorable animal in Australia. Big claim, I know, but who can resist that face with the big black bulbous nose, the fluffy ears and the roundest, cuddliest little body? Just avoid the claws.
The koala's more formal scientific name is Phasculatus cinereus. They live in suitable habitat down the east coast of Australia, except for Tasmania. But koala populations have really struggled, mainly due to habitat loss.
But did you know that depending on which state they come from, koalas take on a different appearance? Keeper Karen Nielsen looks after 130 of them and knows each and every one individually.
Karen, who do we have here?
This is Dusty and that's Dudley.
Dudley is very cuddly. So which is the southern and which is the northern?
Dusty is the southern, Dudley's the northern.
Now, I believe these boys are the same age, so what are the differences?
They are the same age, but you can already see a huge difference in their size. Also the colour, you can see Dusty is really quite dark brown, whereas Dudley's much greyer.
Yes, and very interested in what's going on.
That's right. And also Dusty's fur is much longer and thicker. Here you can sort of get your hand right down into amongst his fur. It's certainly a lot thicker than what Dudley's coat is here. And that's just to cope with the colder temperatures down south.
So within the one species of koala, there are a couple or a few different subspecies?
Yes, there are. Up in Queensland there's the northern, which is Dudley. Dusty is the southern koala, and then there's also in New South Wales as well.
If you're lucky enough to see a koala in the wild, or at a wildlife sanctuary like this one, there's a good chance it will be snoozing. In fact, sleep takes up about 20 hours out of a 24-hour day. Nighttime is when they're active, moving around to find food or a mate during the breeding season.
Now, Karen, out of 3 southern koalas and about 127 northern koalas, do you actually plan to breed the southerners?
Yeah, we do, definitely. We're hoping that Dusty will be a very proud pupper as soon as breeding season rolls around next time.
And I don't know if Wendy here wants to be involved. Tell me her story. She's a northerner.
She is a northerner, and right now she's not really interested in breeding, so that's just what that little display was, just to let us know that she doesn't really want a male in here at the moment. So.
Now, will you breed the southerners with the northerners? Can that be done, or would you do that?
It can be done. Northern koalas can indeed breed with southern koalas, but we're going to keep them separate. We're only going to breed our northerns with our northerns and the southerns with the southerns.
I believe all animals have individual personalities, and koalas are no exception. Now, there's rivalry between states in sport, but what about koalas? What do you think? Who's the cutest, the southerners or the northerners like Scarlett here? Make up your own mind.
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Well, no matter how you say it, the question has always been, are these vegetable-looking things actually fruits?
Well, the answer is yes to tomato and no to potato. But cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkins and avocados, well, they're actually fruits.
But before your mind boggles too much, let's scientifically define the terms. Firstly, fruit.
A fruit is any fleshy material, like an apple or banana, covering a seed or seeds. Generally, a fruit is the edible part of the plant that contains the seeds.
Whereas, on the other hand, a vegetable is
the edible stems, leaves and roots of the plant. For example, some people think rhubarb is a fruit because it is used to make pies. But rhubarb is a vegetable because it's a root.
Okay, so if these veggies are now fruits, and a fruit can be any matter that surrounds a seed or a seeds, then what is a nut? Is it a fruit? Is it a veggie? Or is it just a nut?
According to some nutty experts, a nut is actually a dry, one-seeded, usually oily fruit. So I guess that means it's a fruit.
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. In the end, it's all food. Let's just eat it.
Okay, Wilders, now before we get out into the track properly and put pedal to the metal, Barclay has offered to show us just a few tips. Let's check it out.
Okay, we're talking about racing lines now. Coming into the corner, first of all, obviously you've got to get your braking right for the corner or else you can't make the corner. So once you've done your braking, you say on the outside of the track, you look for your apex, which is on the inside of the track in the middle of the corner.
Okay.
So you'll turn into that apex. You want to be as close to that apex as you can by the time you get to it.
It's a pretty straight line too we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, generally you make the corner as straight as possible. Obviously the shortest way through the corner is the straightest, so that's generally the fastest. Important on this corner though, you don't just worry about the first part of the corner, you've got the second part too.
Okay.
So you've got to get yourself back out to the right hand side again so you can look for your second apex down the bottom there.
Okay guys, now I just asked Barclay for a few tips before, but do you have any for me? What do you think, Mitch?
Well, probably warm up your tyres while you're out there so you don't spin out.
Okay, and it makes you stick to the track.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Chaz?
Well, I got two. Go out, make sure you wear safety gear so you don't get hurt, and brake before the corner and power through the corner.
Excellent. How about you, Jake?
Just go as fast as you want to go and
safely though.
Yeah.
Natasha?
Well, if you're a girl, to tuck your hair in.
Hey, that's a good point. Why do you do that?
So your hair doesn't get caught in the chain.
And we don't want that, do we?
No.
Now guys, I'm all schooled up, I'm all suited up. What do you think? Do you think I could take you on and challenge you for a race?
You better beat us.
I better beat you?
You better beat us.
Well guys at home, you heard right. When we come back, I'll be taking these guys on, so don't go too far.
Long, long legs, a graceful neck and an ever so large bill.
Take a look at any of the key features of an animal and you can find out a lot about their lifestyle.
The jabiru, or black-necked stork, is a beautiful bird who struts its stuff around the coastal areas of northern and eastern Australia. Those coral red legs enable it to wade through water on the search for food.
Josh, with like pink legs and black and white and like this glossy green head, they're far from camouflage.
Yeah, they aren't very camouflaged very much. A lot of their colours are standing out in the wild, and also the more colourful they are, a lot more healthier.
Oh, that's a good sign then. Tell me a little bit about their beaks, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, their beaks are quite sharp. They're used for a lot of jabbing of the crustaceans, like lobsters, crabs, maybe some fish in the water, in the wetlands. So, yeah.
Wetlands, that's where you usually find them?
Yeah, a lot of wetlands up north and east coast of Australia mostly.
One easy way to spot a male from a female is the colour of their eyes. Female jabberoos have yellow eyes, males have black. They've got really long, thin necks, but are they quite strong?
Yeah, their necks are quite strong. They allow quick movements when catching their prey in the water, in the wetlands and swamps.
And do they actually fly very much?
Yeah, they actually are quite good flyers. Outside the breeding season, they actually migrate up north, where they can get into flocks of about 100 birds, so they are quite strong flyers. Yeah.
Its features are amazing and its lifestyle's pretty cool too. So from Jabberoo Central, this is Jack Yabsley signing out.
The Daintree National Park north of Cairns is not all rainforest. There are magnificent mangroves on the coastal sections and lush, life-giving water systems that join the mountains to the coast. Visitors to the region see a different selection of wildlife in each of the habitats.
This is the Daintree River, a watercourse that snakes its way from deep inland. Along its banks are some of the most amazing plants and animals that you'll ever see. But most people come here to see just one, a remnant from the age of the dinosaurs, the great saltwater crocodile.
The Daintree may be the oldest tropical rainforest on Earth, but crocodiles have been here even longer. Just like the rainforest, the crocodiles look the same today as they did millions of years ago. This prehistoric reptile species has been around for more than 220 million years. Chris Dahlberg has spent 15 years cruising this river and knows where to find these fascinating wetland predators. He's looking for a sunny spot along the riverbank.
It's gone past its first birthday, this crocodile, and it's a very fortunate one because only about 1% survive, and the average of 50 in a nest, it's doing a pretty good job. And you can imagine there are still many things that could eat that in the way of birds, perhaps white-bellied sea eagle or something, or even another big crocodile. And at this age, the proportions are such that the tail is about half the size of the crocodile. And we find of the food reserves for a young crocodile could be in this tail.
There are many more exotic creatures to be found here on this special river, if you know where to look.
Tell me about the Daintree. What's so unique about it? The river I'm talking about here.
Oh, the river I think is one of the best. For instance, there's a shining flycatcher just come out over there. It's probably one of the best places I know of in the world where you can see wildlife almost daily. It compares favourably with places in Africa and South America and so on. Flycatchers are generally species that you'll find inside forests and rainforests and so on. Shining flycatchers tend to come out of the rainforest and perhaps into the mangroves and out along water systems.
There are many enchanting birds to be seen along the course of the river if, like Chris, you know where to aim your eyes. And there are many more eyes aimed at the humans who come to see the treasures of the Daintree River.
Hi, Dr. Rob here for yet another 60-second science, except this time I think we're going to need 120 seconds, because today have I got a doozy for you. DNA. What is it? Where does it come from? And more importantly, what does it do? Right, start the clock. Let's start with a name. DNA. It stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. Now let's try that again. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So where's this stuff found? Well, it's in every organism on the planet. Plants, animals, fungi. And inside these organisms, it's in these little tiny things called cells that kind of make them up. Everything is made of cells. The human body is made up of approximately 100,000 billion of these cells. Right, Where is it inside the cell? Well, if this room was a cell, this table would be the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, you find lots of these things. These are called chromosomes. In the human body, there's 46 of them. And a chromosome is basically just one long strand of DNA. Here's a model of some DNA. Except in real life, of course, it isn't this short. It stretches on and on and on and on. Inside just one cell, you have approximately 3 metres of DNA. That's 3 metres inside every single one of your 100 billion cells. If we were to stretch it out in one big long line, it'd get up to the moon and back 13 times. Stop the clock. That's a lot of science. I'm going to need a break.
Come on, Rob, you can do this, you can do this, mate, you can do this. I'll just call you down, mate, call you down, call you down, call you down. Just think to yourself, think DNA, science, DNA, now get back out there and give it all you got. Come on, mate, DNA, science, move it, come on.
Alrighty, start the clock. Right, where were we? DNA, chromosomes, DNA, of course. DNA, let's have a look at it here. It takes this really special shape we've got here. We call this a double helix. Same name as CSIRO's Science Club, if I recall. Now, let's have a look at our little double helix. It's made up of rungs. Each one of these rungs is made up of nucleic acids. Ah, I've heard that before somewhere. Nucleic acids, of course, the name, deoxyribonucleic acid. There are, in fact, 4 nucleic acids in DNA: adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. And the order these go in is very particular. They form like a code, like a recipe, like instructions. What do we call these instructions? We call them genes. A gene is kind of like a chemical recipe for who you are. Everything about you, the colour of your hair, the colour of your eyes, how big your toes are going to be. Everything about you is determined by your genes. Where do you get your genes from? Aha, they come from your parents. That's why you look so much like your parents, because they give you your genes. How do you fit so much information on such a small molecule? I'll tell you how. It's very, very, very efficient. It's about 100,000 times more efficient than your computer hard drive. Stop the clock. Oh, I told you that was going to be one long 60-second science.
You did it, mate, you did it. Here, I'll hose you down. You sucker. Come on, come on.
Ever seen a sea snake feed? Well, take a look at this. Wow, Di, that looks awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing watching them eat, just eating their food whole and swallowing it down. People actually get a real big thrill watching sea snakes eat because it's such an awesome thing to watch.
And what have we got on the menu today?
Today we've got whole whiting, and that comes in freshly frozen, and they just eat that probably once a week.
And I noticed that most of them are eating it head first.
Yep, they always eat it head first. They can't actually eat it from the tail first because the scales face down towards the tail. And if they tried to eat the tail first, then it's sort of like eating backwards. They couldn't actually swallow it because the scales would get in the way. So they always have to eat head first.
And how do they swallow it? How do they get it down?
They actually, it's amazing. It's like the land snakes do. They actually dislocate their jaws and grab the food whole, start from the head end and just work their way down, just work its way down the body, and after they're finished they do this really weird like yawn, and that puts their jaw back again, and that's it. So it's very easy for them to eat. And you can actually see once they've eaten, they've got a big bulge in their belly. So it'll probably take about 24 to 48 hours to digest it. And then they swim along again and quite happily for another week or so before we feed them again.
What would they eat in the wild?
These guys would probably just eat whole fish. Some other sorts of sea snakes, they eat specifically like fish eggs or gobies, but that depends on what sort of species it is. But these guys are hardwick sea snakes, and they just eat whole fish, usually just fish, yeah.
So is whiting a favourite?
Whiting's a favourite here, but they probably would eat things like coral trout that are more commonly found up at Weipa, that's where they're from. But they certainly have taken to the whiting, no worries. All sea snakes are actually venomous to some sort of extent, and these ones will probably be enough from one bite to kill 6 people.
Is that right? So when you're feeding them in there, are you safe?
We actually wear very thick gloves. Our gloves are about 7 mil thick, and these guys' fangs are about 4 mil, so really they shouldn't be able to bite you. But they're very good in their nature, and they've never actually gone to show us any signs of aggression or anger, so they're very good to manage here.
sea snakes have you got here?
We've got 4 sea snakes at the Melbourne Aquarium, and here we have Shah, and as you can see, she's just got very plain sort of looking bands, and we've also got Mickey, Cadbury and Campbell.
How can you tell them apart? They all look the same.
But they do look pretty similar, but each one, just like a zebra, have got different patterns of bands. So you can see Shah she's pretty plain looking, but she's very easy to differentiate from the other snakes.
I somehow get the feeling that you are quite fond of these guys.
Yeah, they're sort of my pet favourite here. I really love reptiles, and since working at the aquarium, the sea snakes have become sort of my little pet project, and they're very challenging to keep, and it's been a really awesome trip to have them here.
Go. Radio Wilders now today. If you've just joined us, I've been hanging out with a group of very talented champion go-karters, and stupidly, I might add, I've somehow got myself involved in racing them. Well, I am all kitted out, so may as well. Ugh. Tight squeeze there. Whee! Guys, that was just so much fun. How did you go? Have fun? Yeah? Heaps of fun. How fast do you reckon we were going?
About 90 kilometres an hour.
90 kilometres. That was pretty quick. Any hairy moments for anyone there?
Yeah, when you braked in front of me, I just gave you a bit of a nudge.
You did nudge me too. What about you, Chaz?
Well, when I went around the outside here, it was a bit scary, but yeah, I came through.
So my bads.
Yeah.
How'd they go on those apex corners?
Yeah, definitely getting the hang of it. You're cornering really well there towards the end. Not quite as good as these little guys. They've got a bit more experience than you, but yeah, definitely improving, and I think you'll be a racer one day.
Excellent. Well, they were zipping past me, so a little bit more practice, but unfortunately,
that's all we have on today's show. We hope you've had lots of fun. See you later next time on Totally Wild.
See you later, guys.
4 o'clock Friday, get ready for the biggest showdown Scooter has ever seen. But who can be trusted? With double agents on the loose, the truth is going to be impossible to find. How will it all end? The series finale of Scooter's Secret Agent. 4 o'clock Friday on 10. Coming up next, The Bold and the Beautiful.